Magic mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest one of all?
Let's see.
Excuse me. Your curtain. Please allow me to help.
Help? From you?
So no prince or a different kind of prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because like we cast a guy in the movie.
Right.
Andrew Burnap, great dude.
Yeah.
It's it's one of those things that I think everyone's gonna have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be.
Zoom in right there, that's it. 163,000 rating, of which it got 1.6, not out of 5. Like, you know, sometimes you go to McDonald's, it's 1.6 out of 5.
Yeah.
1.6 out of 10.
This thing was a disaster. It only made $43 million at the box office, which is really bad for a movie like this. I don't have the numbers at the top of my head, but I want to tell you, Cinderella, which was a number of years ago, don't forget how much inflation has happened.
Disney's Bob Iger says their mission is to entertain, not send messaging as Snow White sales compete for worst performing live action Disney adaptation ever.
I love what you said about wanting to entertain audiences. Critics saying Disney's too woke, but you're just putting out storytelling.
We are. Look, I don't really like the term woke because I think it's an umbrella term that I'm not 100% sure I even know what it means.
And you still think it's because you're a good person and everybody else isn't, not because you're missing something, being the forest for the trees. So, I just wanted to let you know how the entire world feels about you and your exceptional take.
It does seem like the media have got the throw her under the bus green light, though, when we're posting things like this. We're slagging her off behind the scenes, we're dropping all the information, and then reminding you of, her attacking the majority of the population of America when she posted F the Orange Man.
When The Simpsons dropped their latest episode titled Snowwoke, The Reimagining, it wasn't just another jab at pop culture. It was a full-blown roast that lit the internet on fire. The episode featured a dark-haired princess who rejected fairy tales, denounced the prince, and transformed every press junket into a monologue on equity and feminism. Viewers immediately drew comparisons to Rachel Zegler and her controversial take on Disney's upcoming Snow White remake. Social media erupted with side-by-side edits showing Zegler's real interviews alongside the animated parody. What hit hardest? The eerie accuracy. Viewers didn't need to guess who the episode was mocking. The resemblance was clear, and so was the intent. It was The Simpsons doing what they do best.
You're weird. Weird.
My queen, you're the fairest, but no longer the most evil.
Wait, what?
Cutting through public personas with scalpel-sharp satire. But this time, the target wasn't a political figure or media mogul. It was a Gen Z actress who had once been Disney's Golden Girl. And the backlash wasn't just laughter. It was a brutal agreement. According to multiple insider reports, Rachel Zegler didn't take the parody lightly. Already reeling from months of online criticism and awkward press junkets, the Snowwoke episode blindsided her. Sources claim she immediately contacted her team, demanding action. She wanted calls made to Disney, Fox, and directly to The Simpsons production staff. Her request? Pull the episode from circulation, or at least remove her likeness. But the answer from Fox was a hard no. It aired, it's satire. We're not pulling anything, one Fox source allegedly stated.
Right? So she would like to also enjoy the privilege of making sure that you're going to come to theaters to keep her relationships with the executives that give her the job so that she never has to touch her own door handles. Good. She wants to manage those relationships. So she's now asking you to accept her lame-ass apology.
That response lit a fuse online. While Zegler remained silent publicly, the industry buzzed with talk of her fury behind the scenes. Her reaction was described as emotional, embarrassed, and desperate to contain the damage. Yet the episode remained untouched, a sign that The Simpsons had no intention of backing down. They knew what they were doing, and for them, the parody wasn't cruel, it was commentary. It didn't take long for the episode to gain dominance on TikTok, YouTube, and Reddit. Creators quickly paired Zegler's infamous interviews, where she called the original prince a stalker and declared Snow White wasn't dreaming of love, with clips from the parody.
So it sounded like they really liked it, which is really, really exciting. I saw the title card, which looked great. I got really emotional hearing everybody's reactions to it, which was really, really incredible. And so I feel very blessed to be a part of something that seems to be very important to a lot of people, including myself.
The animated version echoed those lines with a smug flair that audiences couldn't ignore. One particularly viral edit showed the cartoon Snow White saying, "I'm not here to be loved, I'm here to lead," juxtaposed with real footage of Zegler delivering a similar line. The phrase became a meme overnight, dubbed by users as the final boss of girl bossing, but not in a flattering way. Reaction videos racked up millions of views. Comments flooded in, not just with laughter, but also nods of agreement. The Simpsons hadn't exaggerated, they had summarized. The mockery felt by viewers, tired of Hollywood's perceived arrogance, was well-deserved.
It's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby. But it's one of those things.
So true,
it's an inner journey that she goes on to find her true self, and she meets a lot of people along the way.
In this process, Zegler became a symbol, not just a star. The show didn't pull punches. Instead, it charged headfirst into the controversy with torch in hand. The parody princess critiques fairy tales, refers to dwarfs as symbols of labor, and turns interviews into lectures. She even stares into the camera and says, "I'm not here to be loved." As Krusty the Clown mutters, "Why didn't anyone tell me we cast someone with a podcast?" The grand premiere in the episode ends with an empty theater and a lone audience member saying, "I miss the old princess." The in-universe movie bombs, just like the real Snow White remake is rumored to be doing. The episode concludes with the fictional Rachel Z character tripping over books she previously declared problematic.
You know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Melting down on a late-night show and storming off stage. It wasn't just a dig, it was a takedown. And it worked because it didn't fabricate. It reflected. After being one of the most vocal defenders of her film during the early press tour, Rachel Zegler went completely silent following the episode. No tweets, no Instagram stories, no vague quotes about staying strong. Just a void. For fans used to hearing from her often, the silence was deafening and suspicious. Was she strategizing? Shaken? Under orders from Disney PR? Regardless, her absence didn't feel powerful. It felt like a retreat.
I think it's fair to say that no one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie. And yet, Christian, you've seen the movie, and it appears that the filmmakers cobbled together enough salvageable material to make the movie itself quite nice.
In Hollywood, retreat can be perceived as a sign of defeat. The more Zegler said nothing, the more the internet filled in the blanks. Rumors swirled that she was under a gag order, that her team was in crisis mode, and that Disney was trying to reframe the narrative behind closed doors. However, without her voice in the mix, the public perception continued to spiral. And that silence? It didn't shield her, it amplified the backlash. Reports from Disney insiders suggest that the studio wasted no time in pulling back on Zegler's promotional presence. Scheduled appearances were quietly canceled and panel invites were withdrawn. The little that remained of the ad campaign shifted focus away from Zegler and toward costumes, visual effects, and Gal Gadot.
You see yourself as the evil queen. You are not evil. You are not evil. You're a queen, but you're not evil. What was it like seeing yourself as the evil queen for the first time?
We did not see the clip.
Her name was conspicuously absent from press materials. Internally, it was not just damage control, it was surgical distancing. And it did not stop there. Multiple PR agencies reportedly began using Zegler's case as a cautionary tale for media training. Leaked slides from one firm included a still from the Snowwoke episode under the title, "When Authenticity Becomes Arrogance." Zegler, once Disney's breakout darling, was now a branding risk. Not because she lacked talent, but because her public image was radioactive. And in an industry that thrives on likability, being polarizing is a liability. Casting directors across Hollywood took notice.
Just last week, the media and the shill influencers were trying to do everything they could to save Snow White from being a complete and total flop in the box office, and they failed miserably. This movie is already a complete and total disaster, and it is so bad that now even the media has to admit.
What began as a parody episode quickly snowballed into professional consequences. One Netflix producer allegedly said, "We'll circle back when the air clears. She's still radioactive." A franchise that had previously shortlisted Zegler for a supporting role quietly removed her from consideration. Even agents were reportedly advising clients to avoid projects associated with her. Her talent wasn't in question. What was? The baggage. Every studio is now asking the same thing. Does casting her bring buzz or backlash? The Simpsons didn't just mock Rachel. They spotlighted how risky she had become. And when your name is being used in PR workshops as a warning sign, that's not just bad press. That's career crisis territory.
You're crying on that stage.
When am I not crying in public? It's so upsetting.
Why were you crying?
Oh my gosh, I saw the well, we didn't even see. We didn't even see, but I saw the logo and I went, that's my name. Snow White's up there.
The Simpsons didn't exaggerate Zegler's public missteps. They condensed them, and that made it sting. Her every quote about Snow White, leadership, the patriarchy, and dismissing the prince was filtered through a comedic lens and landed squarely. Viewers weren't shocked, they were validated. The episode didn't twist her words, it replayed them with animation and just enough satire to feel both ridiculous and real. That's what cut deepest. Satire only hurts when it strikes truth. And audiences felt this one nailed it. Suddenly, Rachel wasn't just a controversial figure. She was a punchline. A shorthand for industry misfires. And that's a label even talent and charisma can't easily shake.
Iger needs to be inspired a little bit by Trump to come in and make immediate changes. Step down, bring somebody else to make immediate changes.
Online commentary spiraled further. One video titled, "The Simpsons Did What Disney Wouldn't" hit over 3 million views in 48 hours. Others mocked her with fake Oscar montages or spoofed interviews. Even an old viral hoax about a fake OnlyFans account using AI images of Zegler resurfaced, catching traction again amid the chaos. Though debunked, thousands believed it. By now, facts mattered less than narrative. The internet wasn't just reacting to a parody, it was projecting its pent-up frustration. Zegler had become a symbol for what fans felt was wrong with modern Hollywood. Lecturing audiences, rewriting legacies with contempt, and mistaking buzzwords for connection.
His comments were likely aimed at critics like Peltz, who accused Disney of leaning too far into woke storytelling at the expense of financial performance.
Her silence was read as arrogance. Her voice, when it had spoken, felt detached. The digital storm was no longer about her movie. It was about her. Once Spielberg's hand-picked breakout star, Rachel Zegler, now finds herself on a much steeper climb. With studios backing off, fans divided, and industry professionals labeling her a brand risk, her spotlight is flickering. The Simpsons episode wasn't just a roast, it was a cultural timestamp. A signal to execs, agents, and PR teams. This is what happens when the audience feels unheard. It was the moment Zegler's narrative slipped from her hands and into public satire. Her path forward now depends on whether she can acknowledge the backlash and grow from it. Because in Hollywood, careers can survive scandal, but not if the star disappears or refuses to adapt to the new reality. The next move is hers, but it must be honest, humble, and real. The industry is watching. The audience is waiting. And her silence, once seen as a strength, now risks becoming her legacy.